Right, so welcome back. Today we're going to talk about my top 3 supplements that I recommend for health, longevity and performance. So I am a qualified nutritionist, so I am qualified in teaching you all this stuff, and on this channel I really try and take some complex subjects and I try and break it down into a really easily digestible and implemented system that you can all take away and get results from today. So my top 3 supplements, not necessarily in any particular order. It's not the only supplements that I would say are worth taking, but I'm trying to give you the top ones. So number 1, and this is the number 1, is creatine. So creatine is probably the most well-researched supplement on the market. It's been researched many times, many papers on it. It's extremely safe and extremely effective. Now, originally, what people thought creatine did, or what it does, but what they only thought it did, was improve strength and performance. So you've got a energy system, which is your phosphocreatine energy system, but in simple terms, the short intense exercise you do, heavy weightlifting, sprinting, that sort of thing, it needs creatine to work effectively. So originally people thought, add more creatine in and you'll get more of a boost in that sort of training, which is 100% true. You absolutely do. Every strength athlete in the world, I would imagine, takes creatine and it works. So it does work for that. So if you're looking for strength and performance, absolutely fantastic. But what we've learned more recently is how much it actually helps brain health. So you need creatine in your brain, and it really helps with many things like cognitive function. So it makes you a little bit sharper when you're trying to put things together. Me fumbling around my words on here is not a good advert for it, but I promise you it does work. But one of the things I can 100% attest to is that it helps if you're in a sleep deprived state. So if you're busy professional, busy parent, then creatine is a must. And I can absolutely attest to that. I've had 2 terrible sleeping children. They're still not the best. I compete to a national level in strongman, so I train hard as well, and I'm still able to run a busy business, work long hours, train really hard whilst being sleep deprived. It's not an ideal situation, but creatine actually does really help with that. And also they're doing extra research now into its effects on maybe preventing Alzheimer's because of how it helps the brain health. I'm probably missing some of the benefits, but absolutely take creatine every single day for the rest of your life. Now, 2 things, dosaging. It always used to be that people would say take 5 grams a day. Research now says you can go up to about 20 grams a day and get increased benefit. What I personally do is I'm on 10 grams a day. I do 10 grams a day every day, and I'm pretty happy with that. Digestion's pretty good on it, and it seems to be working well. Another thing is go for the plain creatine monohydrate powder. Creatine monohydrate is not an expensive supplement. So what supplement companies did, in all their wisdom, to try and make more money, is they tried to reinvent the wheel, essentially. So you'll see things like crealkaline, creatine ethyl ester, creatine max 5000, all this stuff just to try and charge more money. But none of them are as effective as the plain old creatine monohydrate powder. So just stick with that. I personally, with breakfast, I either have just a small glass of water or a small amount of pineapple juice, mix the powder in, give it a stir, down the hatch in one. That's how I prefer just to get it done. Don't leave it in a shake. If you make a pre-workout shake and you're gonna have it later in the day, don't put your creatine in that. If creatine sits in liquid for too long, it denatures and it breaks down into actually a different compound, and nowhere near as effective. I only found that out a few years ago, which is crazy. So yeah, so if you're doing creatine, put it in, take it at the time. Number 2. Vitamin D3, so the sunshine vitamin, essential for bone health, immune health, hormone health, a lot of benefits for vitamin D3. If you want to know how important it is, every cell in your body has a vitamin D receptor. That is how important vitamin D is. Vitamin D3 is the most effective form. Don't go for vitamin D2. People will say you can get all the vitamin D you need from the sun. And what happens with the sun is when the sun hits your skin, it allows your body to synthesize vitamin D. If you live in California, you live in Miami, you live in Africa, something like that, maybe. If you work outside as well in those countries. But I live in England, good portion of the year, we don't really see a lot of sun. And most people work in offices or are in the house with their kids, or most people are fairly sedentary and work indoors for the most part of the day. And then if you're not getting a lot of sun before and after, you're just not going to get enough. And lots of the population are deficient in vitamin D3. So just take it. Again, it's such a cheap supplement that you don't even need to think twice about it. Another little caveat is get one that's got vitamin K2 in it. Vitamin D3 needs vitamin K2 to be properly absorbed in the body. So don't just get one that's just vitamin D3, get one that's a combination. The one that I take has got both in, and it's fairly cheap. I'll let you know at the end how to get the links to the ones I personally take. But for now, vitamin D3, vitamin K2. Dosaging wise, the bare minimum is 2,500 IUs per day. It will say on the supplement how many IUs there are. If it says, what is it? Sometimes it says UG. So just Google the conversion. But most of them are in IUs, so international units. So 2,500 is the bare minimum a day. I personally have one that's got 4,000. And that's the one I take. During the summer, when it's sunny, I will take one of those a day because I get out in the sun as much as I can. So we've got kids, so we're outdoors as much as we can when it's nice weather. I've got a dog, so I'm always doing at least an hour, if not 2 hours of dog walking per day. So in the summer, I take one of those. In the winter, I'll take 2. So we'll get 8,000 in. Mainly because it's like you could just take the 4,000 all year round and be absolutely fine. It's purely because of how important vitamin D is with your immune system as to why I double up during the winter. If you've got young kids, they bring everything home. So I just want to foolproof myself in that aspect. And because I do a lot of heavy lifting and don't necessarily get as much sleep as I would want, then the hormone production benefits of having vitamin D3 is there for me as well. Now, number 3. Magnesium. Now, there's different forms of magnesium. I personally take a blend, but magnesium is very important, again, for immune health. It's really important for muscle contractions. It's very important for nerve function. And also, if you are busy and you're stressed, magnesium has a really good calming effect on the nervous system. And if you take it with your evening meal, it can help your sleep. But magnesium is just really important, and it's difficult to get a lot from your diet because of how farming's been to try and over-farm lots of grains and things. The turnover of the soil and the monocrop farming has depleted a lot of the nutrients out of the soil, and magnesium is one of the big ones that's been depleted in the soil. So just makes sense, just add it in the supplement. Again, it's not an expensive one. I'm not the sort of person who will spend hundreds of pounds on supplements because I want my diet to do the most of it. And also it's just not sustainable. When I start if I take a new supplement, unless it's to handle a certain deficiency in a short period of time, if it's one I'm thinking for the long term, I always ask myself, can I realistically see myself taking this in a year's time? And the biggest thing with when you say no is cost. If you're picking up another supplement, like supplements that are all 30 quid a piece, and you're taking like 5 to 10 of them, it soon becomes unsustainable for most people. So I don't really preach really big, expensive supplements unless it's for an individual specific case. So magnesium, really important. So they are the top 3 supplements that I recommend everyone take for health and performance. I'm going to give you a number 4, cheeky extra, just because I like to over deliver. Now this, I don't necessarily class this as a supplement because I class it as food, because it's been described as fast food for athletes. Whey protein, so the normal protein powder that you see in shops and on the internet. Now why I class it as a food is because A, it's protein and it works as part of your diet rather than supplementing into the diet like missing vitamins. But it's so handy, especially if you're busy. And most people don't get anywhere near their protein targets. Usually that's just because they don't know how. But a lot of the thing is just getting convenient protein in. So whey protein can be added to overnight oats, works really well for that. Gives it a nice flavor if you pick a good flavor. And also will take a meal, so if you have normal overnight oats without any protein in, then you're missing a big macronutrient, probably the most important macronutrient in that meal. So you're making it even healthier and even more effective by adding whey protein in. Also works really well for snacks. So say you have an afternoon snack, it needs to be quick because you're at work, then having whey protein powder that you can just mix into water along with a piece of fruit, is a really healthy snack. So you can do that nice and easily. So that I would 100% again, take that. So they are my top recommended supplements. Now, if you want to know the exact ones that I use and recommend, then go into the description of this video, click on my Instagram handle, the Instagram link, and just send me a DM saying the word supplements. And I will email across links to all of these supplements that I personally take, and I promise you, they are not expensive, but they are extremely well dosed and extremely effective. Now, I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, it'd be really good if you like and share the video, and also just comment below. Let me know that you've enjoyed it and if you found it useful, and also if there's any other topics that you want covered. But until next time, have fun and get a hold of these supplements.